Imagine just for a moment that the most powerful tool for living a meaningful and fulfilled life isn't something you can buy, earn, or be given by others. It's already within you, waiting to be discovered and harnessed. This isn't just a thought experiment, it's a reality grounded in the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy that has guided countless individuals through the ages toward lives filled with purpose, resilience, and tranquility. Stoicism teaches us that the key to a life well lived isn't found in external rewards or material success, but in mastering the art of valuing ourselves through virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. This serves as a reminder that despite the chaos and challenges of the external world, we hold within us an unshakable foundation for our own well-being and happiness. By peeling back layers of societal expectations and self-doubt, Stoic principles reveal a way to transform how we view ourselves and our place in the world. This journey is about more than just self-improvement. It's about rediscovering our inherent worth and learning to live in alignment with our deepest values. If you're ready to unlock personal freedom, resilience, and fulfillment, you're in the right place. Let's explore how Stoic wisdom can illuminate the path to valuing ourselves as never before. Sign 1. Accepting less than you deserve. We've all been guilty of accepting less than we deserve at some point, whether by staying in a draining job, remaining in relationships that don't uplift us, or holding back from pursuing our dreams due to fear. We settle, we compromise, and we convince ourselves that this is as good as it gets. But why do we do this? Is it out of fear, or perhaps comfort? Stoicism teaches that our true worth and essence aren't defined by these external circumstances. Whether in a palace or a prison, Stoic wisdom reminds us that what truly defines us is not our situation, but how we respond to it. Stoicism encourages us to challenge the notion that our circumstances dictate our worth. It's about recognizing that while we may not have control over every aspect of our lives, we have the ultimate power over our perceptions, judgments, and actions. When we accept less than we deserve, we're essentially saying that our external circumstances hold more power over us than we do. Stoicism invites us to ask, is this situation aligning with my values? Am I responding in a way that reflects my true worth? If the answer is no, Stoicism empowers us to change our perspective, to choose a response that aligns with our values, and ultimately to transform our reality. When we find ourselves accepting less, it's crucial to remember that our worth isn't defined by our job title, relationship status, or bank account size. Our worth is determined by our ability to stay true to our values and to act with courage, wisdom, and integrity, regardless of circumstances. This isn't about self-blame. It's about recognizing the power we hold to shape our own lives. We don't settle for less out of entitlement, but because we respect our inherent worth. When we respond to life's challenges with strength and resilience, we're not just surviving, we're thriving in the truest sense. Sign 2. Minimizing your achievements. Many of us tend to downplay our achievements, often attributing them to luck, or claiming that anyone could have done it. Acknowledging our successes isn't about feeding our pride. It's about honoring the discipline, perseverance, and commitment it took to reach those goals. Stoicism places a high value on virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, recognizing that every achievement, big or small, often stems from the application of these virtues. When we minimize our accomplishments, we aren't just undervaluing the results, we're undervaluing the virtues that helped us get there. Stoicism encourages us to see our achievements as reflections of our efforts and values, not merely as outcomes of luck. This Stoic approach fosters a balanced and honest recognition of our own efforts, acknowledging the courage, discipline, or wisdom it took to overcome challenges along the way. To shift this mindset, think of a recent achievement, big or small. Reflect on the virtues you practiced, whether courage in trying something new, discipline in staying consistent, or wisdom in problem solving. Recognize that this achievement reflects your efforts and virtues, not for the sake of ego, but for the sake of truth. This acknowledgement isn't about arrogance, it's about genuinely appreciating the virtues you embody and the effort you invest. Practicing this allows us to move away from false modesty, fostering an appreciation of our strengths and capacities. Acknowledging our successes becomes a way to honor the virtues we've developed and the hard work we've put in. Sign 3. Prioritizing others' needs over your own. Whether it's staying late at work to help a colleague, skipping your morning exercise to care for family, or putting personal dreams on hold to support others, it can feel noble, selfless, even heroic. However, consistently putting others first at the expense of our own well-being can lead to burnout, resentment, and ultimately a diminished sense of self. It's like trying to fill others' cups from an empty pitcher. Eventually, we run dry. Stoicism isn't about being detached or self-centered. It emphasizes virtue and contributing to society. But it also teaches us that self-care is essential for being of true service to others. Caring for oneself is not an act of selfishness. It's a foundation for helping others effectively. Stoicism reminds us that to truly be of service, we must first ensure our own well-being. The Stoic principle of the dichotomy of control teaches us to focus on what is within our control, our thoughts, actions, and crucially, self-care. While we may desire to support others, their well-being is not directly within our control. However, we can control how prepared and grounded we are to offer support, and that starts with caring for ourselves. Consider this: when you're well-rested, healthy, and at peace, how much more patient, understanding, and present can you be for others? Self-care isn't just about physical health. It's about mental and emotional resilience, providing us with the resources needed to be compassionate, wise, and supportive. To strike this balance, recognize that self-care isn't a luxury or an afterthought. It's a necessity. Prioritizing your well-being, setting boundaries, and saying no when needed are all acts of commitment to being your best self for those you care about. Sign 4. Struggling to accept compliments. How often do we deflect or dismiss compliments, thinking we're being humble? In reality, rejecting praise can indicate a distorted self-view where we focus excessively on our imperfections, as if acknowledging strengths makes us arrogant. Stoicism offers a balanced perspective on humility. It's not about denying our strengths, but about recognizing them realistically. Stoicism teaches that our worth isn't diminished by acknowledging our strengths or accomplishments. In fact, accepting compliments can be a way to practice self-awareness and self-respect. When someone compliments us, they're often recognizing a genuine quality or virtue we possess. Dismissing these moments denies us the opportunity to see ourselves through another's eyes, to understand our impact on those around us. Accepting praise graciously allows us to embrace an accurate view of ourselves, not inflated with ego, but grounded in the reality of our virtues. Instead of deflecting, try seeing the compliment as a reflection of your efforts and virtues. Practice simply saying, "Thank you," without minimizing or deflecting. Recognize the truth in their words, not as a feed for your ego, but as an acknowledgement of your capabilities and character. Sign 5. Lacking self-trust. Have you ever stood before a decision, feeling paralyzed by the fear of making the wrong choice? This hesitation often goes deeper than mere indecision. It reflects a lack of self-trust. It's like standing at the edge of a diving board, looking into the water below, knowing you need to jump, but feeling unable to make the leap. Stoicism shines a light on this fear, encouraging us to develop trust in our judgment and inner wisdom. Self-trust doesn't come from always making the right choice, but from recognizing that regardless of the outcome, we have the resilience to face the consequences. Stoicism teaches that while we can't control outcomes, we can control our responses. Building self-trust means embracing our ability to adapt and learn from any situation, believing in our capacity to navigate challenges with wisdom and integrity. It's about practicing courage in decision-making, knowing that even if we stumble, we are capable of getting back up and continuing forward with renewed insight and strength. Embracing self-trust doesn't mean we'll never make mistakes. It means we believe in our ability to grow and learn from them. Instead of being paralyzed by the fear of choosing incorrectly, Stoicism invites us to trust ourselves, make decisions in alignment with our values, and handle whatever results with resilience. This self-trust empowers us to live confidently, knowing that we have everything within us to handle life's uncertainties and challenges with grace. Sign 5. Avoiding decision-making. Stoicism teaches us that the essence of wise decision-making lies not in trying to guarantee outcomes, but in grounding our choices in wisdom and reason. This philosophy reminds us that while we cannot control the results of our decisions, we do have complete control over how we make those choices. It's about aligning our actions with our core values, acting with integrity, and accepting whatever outcomes arise as part of life's natural flow. So why do we often fear making decisions? Frequently, it's because we fear making the wrong choice, leading to outcomes that we perceive as failures or mistakes. However, Stoicism invites us to reframe our understanding of mistakes and failures. In the Stoic view, every outcome is an opportunity for learning and growth. There are no failures, only lessons. This perspective encourages us to trust ourselves, to make decisions with courage and confidence, knowing that whatever the result, it will contribute to our development and understanding. But how do we cultivate this self-trust? How do we strengthen our decision-making muscles? It starts by embracing wisdom and reason. Before making a decision, take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, does this choice align with my values? Am I acting with integrity? By grounding your decisions in your core values, you ensure that regardless of the outcome, your choice was made with the best intentions and understanding you had at that moment. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of learning from the outcomes of our decisions. Every result, whether it's what we hoped for or not, offers valuable insights. It's an invitation to reflect, to understand what worked, what didn't, and how we can apply these lessons moving forward. This process of reflection fosters self-trust, reassuring us that we are capable of navigating life's uncertainties, making choices that reflect our values, and growing from every experience. Sign 6. Excessive self-criticism. Stoicism teaches us to practice discernment, particularly in where we direct our mental energy. It tells us that obsessing over our flaws and mistakes, punishing ourselves for every perceived misstep, is like trying to steer a ship while ignoring the wind and tides. Stoic wisdom encourages us to recognize that perfection is an illusion, an unattainable mirage. Instead, the goal is progress, taking continuous and deliberate steps toward becoming better versions of ourselves. Why do we fall into the trap of excessive self-criticism? Often it's because we measure ourselves against impossible standards, ones we wouldn't expect anyone else to meet. We forget that being human means being flawed, making mistakes, and, most importantly, having the capacity to learn and grow from these experiences. Stoicism offers a powerful antidote to this self-imposed tyranny by encouraging self-compassion and a pursuit of progress over perfection. From a Stoic viewpoint, self-compassion isn't about excusing our shortcomings. It's about treating ourselves with the same kindness and forgiveness we'd extend to a friend. It's recognizing that setbacks aren't reflections of our worth, but are simply part of the human journey. When we stumble, the Stoic response isn't to berate ourselves, but to ask, what can I learn from this? How can I improve? Embracing this mindset requires a shift in how we view our personal growth, where each effort, each attempt, even those that don't bring the results we wanted, becomes a step forward. This approach doesn't mean becoming complacent or indifferent to self-improvement. On the contrary, it fosters a commitment to growth, but with the wisdom to recognize that growth is often non-linear, filled with challenges and beautifully imperfect. Sign 7. Constant comparison with others. Why is it so easy to fall into the trap of comparing ourselves to others? Part of it is simply human nature. We have a tendency to measure our value and accomplishments against those around us. However, in the age of social media, this inclination is amplified as we're constantly bombarded with images and stories showcasing only the best moments of others' lives, the peaks, never the valleys. This leaves us questioning our own worth and experiences. Stoicism offers a potent remedy to this modern dilemma: the cultivation of self-awareness and gratitude for our unique journey. Stoicism encourages us to turn our gaze inward, to focus on our personal growth, virtues and progress, rather than comparing ourselves to others. Stoicism doesn't advocate isolation or indifference to others. Instead, it promotes the idea of finding inspiration rather than feeling inadequate. It teaches us to admire others' virtues and successes without diminishing our own worth or progress. So how can we apply Stoic principles to combat the comparison trap? First, by practicing mindfulness and catching ourselves when we start to compare our behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. Social media is a curated gallery, not an accurate reflection of daily life. Second, Stoicism teaches us the value of focusing on what's within our control, our efforts, attitudes and virtues. These are the seeds from which our unique journey grows. By concentrating on nurturing these aspects, we create a life rich with personal significance, independent of external validation or comparison. Lastly, gratitude plays a vital role. By fostering gratitude for our experiences, challenges and achievements, we anchor ourselves in the present and appreciate the richness of our lives. This doesn't mean becoming complacent. Rather, it allows us to strive for improvement and growth from a place of contentment, not inadequacy. Sign 8. Lack of personal investment. Have you ever put off taking a course you were interested in, starting a hobby, or neglecting your self-care routine? Many of us are guilty of this, and often it's not about lacking time or resources. At its core, this hesitation can reflect an undervaluing of our own worth, a message we send to ourselves that says, "I'm not worth the effort." Stoicism, with its profound insights into human nature, challenges us to view self-improvement not merely as an activity, but as a form of self-respect. According to Stoicism, our capacity for reason and virtue is what sets us apart, and through cultivating these qualities, we find true fulfillment. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, likened life to a garden. Just as a garden needs constant tending to thrive, our inner world requires attention and care. Neglecting our personal growth is like neglecting a garden. Without investment, neither will flourish. Why do we often hesitate to invest in ourselves? Sometimes we're trapped by the allure of immediate gratification, choosing short-term pleasures over long-term fulfillment. Other times it's due to a lack of self-esteem, a hidden belief that we're not worth the investment. Stoicism offers a counter-narrative, asserting that each of us possesses inherent worth and potential for virtue. Investing in our growth, whether by learning new skills, pursuing hobbies, or practicing self-care, honors that worth. How can we start investing in ourselves in a way that aligns with Stoic philosophy? It begins with a mindset shift, viewing self-improvement as an essential, non-negotiable part of life. This doesn't mean overhauling our lives overnight. It's about making small, consistent efforts. It could be as simple as reading on a topic that interests us, dedicating a few minutes each day to meditation, or picking up a hobby that brings us joy. Stoicism also teaches the importance of reflection and self-examination, helping us to recognize our strengths and areas for growth and guiding our personal investment efforts. Regular self-reflection and goal-setting aren't just about achieving external markers of success. They're about aligning our actions with our values, cultivating virtues, and leading a life of purpose. Adopting the Stoic concept of lifelong learning, where wisdom is a journey rather than a destination, transforms personal investment from a chore into an exciting adventure, an opportunity to explore the vast landscapes of knowledge and experience that life offers. Sign 9. Seeking external validation. True validation, according to Stoicism, comes from within, from living in alignment with our values and principles. The Stoics believed that the only things truly within our control are our actions, intentions, and responses. As Marcus Aurelius eloquently stated, "It's not the opinions of others that disturb us, but our judgments about those opinions." Why do we often find ourselves seeking external validation? At its core, this impulse is rooted in insecurity and a deep-seated fear of not being enough. In a world filled with messages about what we should be, do, or have, it's easy to lose sight of our unique path. Stoicism invites us to redirect our focus inward, concentrating on cultivating our character and living a life of virtue. True peace and fulfillment don't come from the fleeting approval of others. They come from knowing we've stayed true to ourselves. How can we break free from the chains of seeking external validation? By recognizing that our worth is not defined by others' opinions, but by our dedication to living with integrity and purpose. Embracing Stoic principles allows us to cultivate an inner strength that doesn't rely on outside praise. Instead, it encourages us to appreciate the effort we put into developing our character and upholding our values, creating a foundation of self-worth that is unshakable regardless of external validation. Sign 9. Seeking external validation. A crucial first step in overcoming the need for external validation is self-awareness. By becoming mindful of our tendencies to seek approval, we can begin to question the motivations behind our actions. Are we pursuing a goal because it aligns with our values, or are we seeking applause? Stoicism encourages us to engage in regular self-reflection, examining our intentions and ensuring they're rooted in our personal values and principles rather than the desire for recognition. Another powerful Stoic practice to combat the need for external validation is developing self-sufficiency, not in the sense of isolating ourselves or becoming indifferent to others, but by finding contentment and fulfillment within. It's about realizing that we are already complete as we are, without the need for constant outside affirmation. Epictetus emphasized the importance of focusing on what's within our control and letting go of what isn't, cultivating a sense of inner stability and satisfaction that doesn't depend on external sources of validation. Stoicism also encourages us to redefine our concept of success. Instead of measuring success through external accolades or achievements, Stoicism teaches us to measure it by our ability to live in alignment with our values. In the Stoic view, true success is found in the pursuit of virtue, the practice of reason, and the resilience to face life's challenges with integrity and courage. This redefinition shifts our sense of accomplishment from being dependent on external approval to a deeper, internal sense of satisfaction and fulfillment. When we view success as an alignment with our core principles, we find peace and satisfaction within ourselves rather than endlessly chasing external approval. Sign 10. Tolerance of negative environments. Imagine finding yourself in a toxic environment, whether it's a draining workplace or a personal relationship that leaves you feeling undervalued. Many of us stay in these situations out of fear of change or a belief that we don't deserve better. However, Stoicism offers a refreshing perspective, one that both highlights our agency and encourages self-respect. Stoic philosophers believed that our environment influences our ability to live virtuously and peacefully, but they also emphasized our responsibility in shaping those surroundings and choosing our associations wisely. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that inner peace is not determined by external circumstances, but by our responses to them. Why do we stay in negative environments? Often it's because we underestimate our capacity for change. We fear the unknown, cling to what's familiar, or doubt our worth. Stoicism challenges these limiting beliefs. encouraging us to recognize our inherent value and power over our choices and attitudes. It invites us to question the belief that we are trapped, prompting us to realize that we often have the agency to change either our circumstances or our perception of them. One powerful Stoic practice for navigating challenging environments is cultivating inner resilience and autonomy. This doesn't mean becoming detached or indifferent, but rather building a strong inner citadel that allows us to remain steady and true to our values, even amidst chaos and negativity. By fostering a resilient inner core, we become less susceptible to the negativity around us and more capable of making choices that align with our well-being. Another Stoic principle that can guide us is the idea of living in harmony with nature, which includes seeking harmony within ourselves and our environments. This means actively creating or seeking out spaces conducive to growth, health, and happiness. Recognizing that we deserve respect, kindness, and positivity, we make the conscious decision not to settle for less. In practical terms, creating environments that nurture our growth might involve setting boundaries in personal relationships, seeking new career opportunities, or adjusting our social circles to include more supportive and positive influences. It also involves cultivating a personal environment through practices like meditation, journaling, or hobbies that support mental and emotional well-being. Sign 11. Fear of pursuing dreams. Fear often holds us back from pursuing our dreams, driven by vivid images of failure, wasted effort, or judgment from others. Stoicism acknowledges these fears but invites us to consider, what do we stand to gain? It encourages us to weigh our fears against the potential for growth, fulfillment, and the realization of our dreams. One powerful Stoic practice that can help address these fears is the premeditation of evils, or negative visualization. This technique involves contemplating worst-case scenarios, not to dwell on them, but to lessen their hold on us. By visualizing the potential hardships, we often find that our fears are less intimidating than we imagined. This practice doesn't make us reckless, rather it gives us a balanced approach, recognizing that failure is possible but not the end. It's simply a step in our journey of growth. Another Stoic concept that emboldens us to pursue our dreams is amor fati, or the love of fate. This principle encourages us to embrace whatever life brings, not with resignation, but with enthusiasm. When we chase our dreams with this attitude, we open ourselves up to a full range of experiences, successes, failures, joys, and disappointments. All are part of the human experience. This acceptance of life's unpredictability frees us from the grip of fear, allowing us to move forward with courage. Stoicism reminds us that our worth isn't measured by external achievements, but by our commitment to live virtuously, to strive toward goals with integrity, diligence, and courage. In this view, the fear of pursuing our dreams isn't just a barrier to success, it's a barrier to living a life that's truly our own. By embracing Stoic principles, we learn to view each step in our journey, whether successful or not, as a valuable part of our growth. Sign 12. Failure to recognize your own worth. Why do we so often overlook our inherent worth? Part of the reason lies in our desire for connection and validation, which, when unchecked, leads us to derive our sense of value from others' opinions or external markers of success. Stoicism, however, teaches us that true worth comes from within, from living in accordance with our virtues and core principles. Epictetus insightfully stated that freedom is achieved not by fulfilling every desire, but by letting go of unnecessary ones, including the need for external validation. This idea profoundly influences how we perceive our worth, reminding us that true contentment comes from recognizing our intrinsic value rather than from others' approval. Stoicism encourages us to shift our focus away from external achievements and toward the cultivation of character. Our worth isn't defined by titles, wealth, or popularity, but by our commitment to living virtuously and acting with integrity, kindness, and courage. This isn't to say that achievements and recognition are without value, but they are not the foundation of our worth. Our worth is constant, unchanging, like stars in the night sky. Recognizing this liberates us from the relentless pursuit of validation. How do we cultivate this Stoic understanding of inherent worth? It begins with self-reflection, turning our gaze inward to acknowledge and appreciate our virtues, efforts, and resilience. Practicing gratitude for our abilities, character, and potential strengthens our awareness that these internal qualities are the true measures of worth. Detaching our sense of value from fluctuating opinions and transient achievements doesn't mean indifference. It's about perspective. It's about understanding what genuinely matters in the grand scheme of life and freeing ourselves from external validation. Sign 13. Feeling unworthy of happiness. Feelings of unworthiness can often stem from past traumas, societal conditioning, or personal failures. We compare our lives to others, seeing only their highlight reels and being painfully aware of our own behind-the-scenes struggles. This comparison, fueled by the misconception that happiness is a finite resource only granted to the deserving, leads us to doubt our own right to joy. Stoicism dismantles these misconceptions, teaching us that happiness isn't a reward to be won, but a way of living. It invites us to reflect on our values, align our actions with those values, and find joy in the pursuit of virtue and reason. Stoicism reminds us that happiness is within our control. By focusing on our thoughts, actions, and reactions and letting go of what we can't control, we become empowered to shape our own happiness. Adopting this Stoic approach begins with changing our narrative about worthiness, challenging the belief that happiness is conditional upon achievements or validation. Instead, happiness is found in living virtuously, making sound choices, and embracing the present. Practicing gratitude also shifts our focus from what we lack to what we already have, turning perceived inadequacies into appreciation for the abundance in our lives. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of community and support in our pursuit of happiness. Happiness isn't a solitary journey. It's enhanced by building meaningful relationships, supporting others, and being supported in return. Through these connections, we affirm our worthiness of happiness, validated by the collective wisdom, love, and encouragement of those around us. Stoic wisdom reminds us that happiness, like virtue, isn't something to chase. It's something we cultivate through our actions, choices, and daily attitudes. As we incorporate these Stoic principles, we come to see happiness not as something to achieve, but as a practice, a daily commitment to living aligned with our values and virtues. By recognizing our inherent worth and embracing life's challenges with resilience and courage, we discover a fulfilling sense of peace and joy that cannot be taken from us by external circumstances. Thank you for joining the journey into Stoic wisdom, a journey that leads us inward to discover self-worth, resilience, and inner peace. Through the timeless insights of Stoicism, we explore what it means to live with purpose, to find happiness within, and to cultivate a life rooted in our deepest values.